He's busted up. I'm not a doctor, but his eye looked like he probably has broken orbital. I don't know that's not a fact, but I'm just assuming. And my plans for him are to go home and rest and recover and take his time. And tonight was a rough night for him. I just want to make sure he's healthy and good, and not even thinking about him fighting again. Just want him to go home and relax and rest. And he's busted up. I'm not a doctor, but his eye looked like he probably has.
Ilia Topuria's perfect record has finally come to an end, but that result isn't the main focus of the conversation. Instead, attention has shifted to concerns about his health after the battle. UFC CEO Dana White revealed that Topuria is believed to have sustained an orbital bone injury as a result of the intense contest he went through at UFC Freedom Fights. The aftermath of the fight has left many fans and analysts closely watching for updates on his recovery and what it could mean for his future inside the octagon.
Our fight of the night, Ilia Gaethje, the performance of the night, Gaethje and gone. So Gaethje wins like $825,000 alone.
According to the UFC president, it was one of the most difficult performances of Ilia Topuria's career. Over the course of the fight, the punishment continued to build, and as the rounds progressed, the momentum gradually moved out of his favor. Now, instead of conversations centered on an immediate rematch or the next championship opportunity, the spotlight has turned toward his recovery process. Topuria now finds himself at the beginning of a completely different stage in his journey, one surrounded by uncertainty. Questions remain about the extent of the injury, the amount of time he may need away from competition, and perhaps the biggest question of all, how he will bounce back from the first loss of his professional career. At the same time, the fighter who handed him that setback is experiencing the most significant achievement of his career, celebrating a victory that has instantly changed the trajectory of his future.
When I fight was Justin Gaethje, last fight, it was like when I go to the cage, this guy, he hit like truck, like nobody hit harder than Justin Gaethje. His kick, his punch, his left hook, right uppercut, it's like, but I make him hit me, like when I go to the cage and I was like, okay, I'm gonna bring him to the deep ocean.
Yeah.
Deep ocean is like, I'm gonna make him tired on stand-up, and I'm gonna bring him on ground and finish him there, First of all, what I have to do, because he have very good wrestling base. He is very good wrestlers, and like beginning of fight, I knew like this guy don't let me wrestling, and I go through on his punch, kicks, and it's like everything what happened with father, like I was think like.
Dana White also disclosed that Justin Gaethje earned an impressive $825,000 in performance-related bonuses following the event, a payout that highlights both the scale of the achievement and the impact it had across the MMA world. This was far more than a routine victory. Gaethje had just defeated one of the sport's most dominant and intimidating champions, sending a message that few expected to see. In his own assessment of the fight, Gaethje spoke highly of Topuria's abilities. He pointed to his hand speed, explosive offense, and particularly his attacks to the body as major challenges throughout the contest. Those strikes, he admitted, created real danger and demanded constant attention. However, as the bout moved deeper into the later rounds, Gaethje began to notice a change. Topuria's pace started to decrease, and the momentum gradually shifted. The same confidence and relentless energy that had made him appear nearly unbeatable began to fade. From across the cage, Gaethje could sense the balance of the fight turning. He recognized the exact moment when the pressure no longer belonged to him. What began as a battle for survival slowly evolved into growing confidence, and that confidence eventually translated into control of the fight. Gaethje later explained that remaining composed while taking damage was a key part of his strategy from the beginning. He anticipated difficult stretches and knew adversity would be unavoidable. Rather than allowing those moments to shake him, he embraced them and stayed focused, trusting that patience and persistence would eventually create opportunities in his favor.
Defeated Ilia Topuria by round 4 TKO to corner stoppage at UFC Freedom 250 on the White House lawn, and is now the undisputed lightweight world champion at 37 years old. I can't believe I'm saying these things, I thought Strickland's upset against Chimaev was going to be enough this year for the MMA gods to start making logic true once again in this sport, but no. Justin Gaethje puts a whipping on Ilia Topuria. Fair enough, survives a nightmarish round 2, but I had Justin Gaethje winning this fight 3 rounds to 1.
Gaethje explained that there is a stage in every fight when instinct begins to take over. It becomes less about emotion and more about survival, a situation where experience often outweighs fear. On that particular night, he felt completely comfortable operating in that environment, using years of high-level competition to navigate the toughest moments of the battle. As the lightweight division starts to sort out its future, former middleweight champion Michael Bisping has already made his position clear regarding the next title contender. In his view, Arman Tsarukyan has earned the opportunity. Bisping pointed to Tsarukyan's victories over top-level opponents and his continued activity in the division, arguing that no other contender currently has a stronger case for a lightweight championship fight. He believes the UFC should move forward without delay and make Tsarukyan the next challenger. Meanwhile, Demetrius Johnson has been thinking about a different question. What comes next for Ilia Topuria? Johnson noted that there are still several compelling stylistic matchups available for the former champion, and one of the most interesting possibilities in his eyes would be a showdown with Tsarukyan. Such a matchup could provide a fresh challenge while offering fans a fascinating clash of skills between 2 elite competitors.
Ton of fucking money, and I mean, every great athlete loses. GSP lost. I've lost. I've gotten knocked out. Only person who hasn't lost, actually, he has lost. He lost to Hamill. John Jones has also lost. All the greats have lost, ladies and gentlemen. We've all lost, and that doesn't say that Ilia Topuria can't.
According to Demetrius Johnson, Arman Tsarukyan's skill set presents a unique challenge for Ilia Topuria. Johnson highlighted Tsarukyan's wrestling ability, athleticism, and constant movement as qualities that could create situations Topuria has not encountered frequently throughout his career. He also pointed out the major difference between 3-round and 5-round fights. In a 3-round contest, fighters are often forced to make adjustments quickly because there is very little time to recover from mistakes or build momentum. Over 5 rounds, however, the dynamic can change completely. Momentum shifts become far more significant, and a fight can look very different by the championship rounds than it did in the opening minutes. Following the events of UFC Freedom 250, that reality has become clearer than ever. At the same time, much of the discussion surrounding a potential blockbuster matchup with Islam Makhachev has faded into the background. After surrendering his title, Topuria is no longer in control of the division's biggest storylines. The dominance and invincibility that once surrounded him have been replaced by questions about his next move. Before talks of massive championship clashes can return, he must first work his way back into contention. Interestingly, Makhachev recently offered additional details about why a proposed fight between the two never materialized. According to the champion, he accepted the opportunity as soon as it was presented. He stated that there were no lengthy discussions and no reluctance on his side when the matchup was first brought up.
What is next for Ilia Topuria? Now, Ilia Topuria's got to heal. He's got to heal. And there's nothing Ilia Topuria can do because I feel he's set in his ways of how he goes about his fights, and how he goes about his fights aren't bad. I think he will always have a hard time with somebody who's able to withstand the shots that Ilia Topuria can.
Makhachev stated that he was willing to take the fight even on short notice and was prepared to move forward immediately. However, according to his version of events, the proposed matchup collapsed shortly afterward. He claimed that discussions became complicated when Topuria allegedly sought a much larger financial package, with reports suggesting a figure in the range of $20 million. Makhachev also pushed back against speculation that an injury was responsible for the fight being cancelled. He maintained that he was healthy, ready to compete, and fully backed by his management team during the negotiations. At this stage, though, those details have largely taken a back seat to more immediate developments. The focus around Topuria is no longer centered on potential super fights or championship showdowns. Instead, attention has shifted toward the aftermath of his defeat and what comes next in his career. The sense of invulnerability that once surrounded him has been broken. The image of an unbeatable champion has disappeared, and the conversation is now entirely different. Rather than discussing who he might challenge next, people are asking how he will respond to adversity, recover from the setback, and begin the journey back toward the top of the division.
Что они болтают, и люди начинают им верить просто в интернете, я думаю. Травма, они уже обо мне переживают. Прими там бой, я приму, но нет уже контракта. Как я приму? Что я приму вообще? У меня нет никаких...
Islam's coming back from an injury, a hand injury. As soon as he's ready, we'll figure out what's next for him.
У меня есть старая травма руки, но это после завершения моей карьеры я ее буду оперировать. Но сейчас это не причина, что бои какие-то срывались. На делах мы видели, что было сейчас. Кто-то скажет, что это неправда, но я могу показать переписки с моим менеджером, мы с ним созванивались, переписывались. Я уже говорил тоже, мне он позвонил. В Белом доме бой против Топурии. Я говорю, все, давай сразу. И дали мне, я даже не просил, они говорят, Лига, гонорар поднимается.
For the first time in his professional career, Ilia Topuria is dealing with something unfamiliar. Every legendary fighter eventually encounters it at some point, doubt. After years of dominance and constant success, he now faces the challenge of responding to a setback that has changed the way many people view his future. Looking back at Justin Gaethje's stunning victory, MMA Guru characterized it as one of the most dramatic shifts in the sport's recent history. In his view, Gaethje did not take the win through luck or circumstance. He built it steadily throughout the fight, earning every advantage through each round, every exchange, and every key moment inside the cage. Guru acknowledged that Topuria had his share of strong moments and showed why he had been regarded as one of the sport's elite competitors. There were stretches where his talent and explosiveness were on full display. Even so, Guru felt that Gaethje consistently demonstrated a greater level of determination as the fight progressed. That perspective is part of what makes the outcome feel so remarkable. For years, fans questioned whether Gaethje would ever reach the summit of the division and secure an undisputed championship. Now, after overcoming the odds and defeating one of the most feared champions in MMA, he has finally achieved the accomplishment that had long seemed uncertain.
In terms of like his skill set in there, you know, said probably the second best guy you prepared for outside of Khabib. But now that you're through Ilia, was he as good as you thought he was? Was he better than you thought he was? Just can you talk about what you experienced in there with him?
I mean, he's very good. I mean, my liver still hurts right now. The body shots were crazy. I mean, he's really, really fast, but you know, when he didn't get the finish at the end of the second round, I think it really took his spirit. And, you know, again, I said it in the press conference leading up, like, he really backed himself into a corner saying he's going to be so dominant. And I said it, when we go to the second round, you're going to be like, what the fuck? When we go to the third round, you're going to be like, what the fuck?
In the end, Justin Gaethje accomplished what many people once believed might never happen. After years of chasing the sport's highest prize, he finally reached the top. The question now is whether this victory marks the start of a completely new chapter in the lightweight division, or if it was a single extraordinary performance where everything came together at exactly the right moment for the highlight. That debate has quickly become one of the biggest topics in MMA. The answer could influence the direction of the lightweight division for years, determining not only Gaethje's legacy, but also how the next generation of contenders fits into the title picture. In his analysis of the bout, MMA Guru took the discussion a step further. He argued that even before the finish occurred, Gaethje had already positioned himself ahead on the judges' scorecards. From his perspective, the eventual stoppage simply confirmed what had been developing throughout the contest, as Gaethje's performance had steadily put him in control of the fight long before the final sequence brought the action to an end.
Что не так. Он говорит, просто он попросил какие-то послушные гонорары, и все. Менеджер дал интервью и сказал, что нам предложили мало денег за этот бой, и мы отказались. Это же его менеджер слова. Илья может что хочет говорить, но его же менеджер договаривался об этом все. Ну, часто стараюсь не отвечать в перепалки в интернете, не вступать, но когда уже ересь несут, когда уже ты уже молчишь, и люди начинают верить, что это правда, что он говорит, что я снялся из-за травмы руки. Никакой вообще речи о руке не было, я сразу же согласился без никаких там запросов.
According to MMA Guru, Justin Gaethje had taken control of several rounds by applying relentless pressure, maintaining a higher work rate, and managing the positioning of the fight inside the cage. In his view, those factors played a major role in shifting the contest in Gaethje's favor as the bout progressed. One of the biggest differences, Guru argued, was the battle of the jab. He believed Topuria struggled to consistently overcome Gaethje's timing and distance management. Whenever Topuria attempted to close the gap and begin his offense, Gaethje responded with accurate counters that prevented him from settling into a rhythm. Each effort to generate momentum was met with resistance, forcing Topuria to continually reset. As the fight wore on, Guru felt those repeated disruptions had a cumulative effect. The confidence and control that had defined Topuria's undefeated run began to fade under the pressure of a difficult and highly competitive matchup. For Guru, the decisive moment was not the finish itself. Instead, he pointed to the point in the fight when Topuria was no longer setting the pace or controlling the action. In his assessment, that shift in momentum was the true turning point. The moment it became clear that the fight was no longer unfolding on Topuria's terms.
Многие тебя тоже ждали на этом турнире, но вот Хабиб на нашем подкасте сказал, что он не хотел бы, чтобы ты там дрался. Сейчас ты понимаешь, почему он это сказал?
Плюс-минус понимаю, но у нас были разговоры. Я уже, как говорил, там в Твиттере я выкладывал. Иногда, если я молчу, все думают, что соперник, если разговаривает, то он правду говорит. Мне утром позвонили, предложили бой, я согласился. Ничего не прося, мне сами предложили бой с плюсом в гонораре. Потом на следующее утром перезвонили, сказали, что Топурия захотел где-то 20, что ли, миллионов. Ему отказали, все, бой сорвался. И через пару часов его менеджер дал интервью, сказал, что нас не устроила сумма, чтобы подраться с Исламом. Ну, за те же деньги по контракту они согласились.
Jorge Masvidal expressed a similar reaction after witnessing the fight. He described it as one of the most impressive contests he had ever watched, emphasizing that its greatness went beyond the excitement and drama of the result. In his view, the bout stood out because of the exceptional skill level displayed by both competitors from start to finish. Masvidal praised the technical aspects of the matchup, highlighting the footwork, movement, and tactical adjustments that unfolded throughout the contest. He was particularly impressed by the constant battle of feints and reactions, where each fighter attempted to draw mistakes, create openings, and gain an edge in the exchanges. To him, the fight was a showcase of high-level mixed martial arts, with both athletes demonstrating why they were considered among the elite in the sport.
That'll be a sick fight too. He's gonna have to deal with Arman Tsarukyan's athleticism, his wrestling, just his will to move around and just be dynamic as an athlete. Can Arman withstand Ilia Topuria's power if he get him out? Now, next time Ilia Topuria fights, if it isn't a title fight, it's going to be 3 rounds. So Ilia Topuria has less rounds to work with. If it's a title fight, so he's got 5 rounds, it changes the strategy a little bit. You guys don't realize that. When you're doing a 3-round fight versus a 5-round.
Masvidal also highlighted the constant adjustments that took place throughout the contest, pointing in particular to Justin Gaethje's ability to vary his pace and approach as the fight developed. He felt that Gaethje's willingness to adapt from moment to moment played a major role in the outcome. Interestingly, Masvidal admitted that before the fight began, he expected the matchup to be heavily in Topuria's favor. Like many observers, he believed Topuria's youth, momentum, self-belief, and recent run of dominant performances would prove overwhelming. What he saw instead was a performance that exceeded his expectations. Rather than being outmatched, Gaethje delivered what Masvidal considered one of the finest showings of his entire career. It was the kind of victory that changes perceptions, elevates a legacy, and becomes a defining moment in a fighter's journey. For Masvidal, the result was far more than a championship win. It was a statement performance against one of the sport's most respected competitors, a night that demonstrated Gaethje's resilience, experience, and ability to rise to the occasion when the stakes were at their highest.
There's one name, and we all know whose name that is Arman Tsarukyan. He is the guy that should get the shot. I think Justin Gaethje deserves right now to go and do whatever he wants to do, take as much time off as he likes, within reason. But Arman Tsarukyan needs to be the first defense. The man has been beating everybody. I mean, he's phenomenal. I mean, some of the performances that he's had, the finishes that he's had, and just the run that he's on, and the popularity that he has gained. I mean, look at beating Charles Oliveira. I mean, destroying Dan Hooker last time out, and look at that against Beneil Dariush. It was mere seconds, like 16 seconds or something crazy like that.
Masvidal went even further in his analysis, explaining how he believed Justin Gaethje was able to take command of the fight much earlier than many people realized. In his view, The foundation of that success was built around one key weapon, the jab. From the very beginning of the contest, Gaethje established a steady rhythm and consistently dictated the range. He mixed together crisp jabs, effective feints, and explosive uppercuts, creating a varied attack that kept Topuria guessing. According to Masvidal, those tools worked together seamlessly and allowed Gaethje to control many of the early exchanges. He also felt that Topuria's forward pressure became somewhat predictable as the fight progressed. Rather than giving Gaethje multiple looks with frequent feints and lateral movement, Topuria often advanced in a straightforward manner. Masvidal believed that this made it easier for Gaethje to anticipate his entries and respond with precise counters. As a result, each attempt to close the distance carried increasing risk. Gaethje was consistently ready to meet him with well-timed shots, disrupting his offensive rhythm and preventing him from establishing the kind of momentum that had been a hallmark of his previous performances. In Masvidal's assessment, that tactical battle played a major role in shaping the direction of the fight from the opening rounds onward.
Topuria was clearly ahead the whole fight, and Justin Gaethje just broke him in round 4, and then Ilia Topuria quits on the stall. I had Gaethje up 3 rounds to 1. I thought he won the first round very clear. It was competitive. Ilia was landing big shots. What am I saying? What am I saying? The whole card was insane. But to finish like this, I can't wait to break down the rest of the card. But this fight, Ilia comes out, he's wandering into jabs like he's never boxed a day in his life. Generational aura loss!
Masvidal believed the problems continued to build as the fight went on. In his view, Topuria struggled to find the proper timing for his attacks and was unable to consistently manage the distance he needed to be effective. As those issues persisted, the fight gradually shifted further in Gaethje's favor. Before long, Topuria was no longer competing at the pace or range that suited his strengths. Instead, he found himself operating under the conditions that Gaethje had established. According to Masvidal, that change was one of the most important factors in the entire contest. Once Gaethje began dictating the terms of the fight, the momentum increasingly moved in his direction. As a result, the lightweight division now looks very different than it did just a short time ago. Topuria's unbeaten record has come to an end, and the conversation surrounding him has shifted dramatically. Attention is no longer focused solely on championship opportunities or dream matchups. Instead, much of the discussion centers on his recovery, his next move, and the path forward after the toughest setback of his career. For the first time in years, fans and analysts are asking a different set of questions. How long will it take for Topuria to return? How will he respond to adversity? And most importantly, how quickly can he rebuild his position and work his way back into title contention following such a significant defeat?
Well, for MMA since I'm 12 years old. Wow, this ranks is one of the greatest fights ever because on the skill set was just high. It wasn't that they were mean and vicious and violent. The skill level was also very high. What Gaethje was doing, the fakes, the movement, the constant changing of pace, of direction, I gotta say that.
While questions continue to surround Topuria's future, Justin Gaethje now finds himself in a position that very few people predicted before this fight. New opportunities have emerged, the stakes have never been higher, and a potential run toward undisputed championship success suddenly feels more realistic than ever. The entire lightweight landscape has been reshaped. Matchups that once seemed unlikely are now legitimate possibilities, and the division appears more competitive and unpredictable than it has in years. Through all the twists and turns of his career, Gaethje has managed to place himself at the heart of the championship conversation once again. Now the debate shifts to the fans. Was this the finest performance Justin Gaethje has ever delivered inside the cage? Can Ilia Topuria recover from this setback and fight his way back to the top of the division? Or are we witnessing the beginning of a completely different chapter in the lightweight division? Share your thoughts in the comments and let everyone know where you stand on these questions. If you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and enable notifications so you never miss future coverage. Stay tuned for more UFC reactions, fighter news, event breakdowns, and in-depth MMA discussions. Thanks for watching, and remember, There's always another story developing in the world of mixed martial arts. Until next time, we'll be here covering every major twist along the way.